Welcome to Chit Chat, everybody. Here we are trying a new platform for our podcast episode, and we are taping live on our Facebook page as well. So if you're listening to this podcast, you can join us every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on our Vermont Dog Trainer Facebook page. So with that being said, I think Cinder went home.
Cinder went home,
right?
Yeah, that went well.
She, that was a really good take home because we just wanted to work on walking, right? Because her stimulation level around walks and stuff,
distractions, and
this is why it's so good having these follow-ups, having so many of them.
Yeah,
is that now the sessions are shorter and we don't have to go so deep
totally
in each one, and so it got way easier with that, and it was so much nicer too.
It's also nice having the time in between so that problems can arise. They can start seeing things at home and how do I deal with this? Oh, I'm struggling here. Oh, I get to go back next week.
And she had messaged me and just let me know, like, she went on an hour walk and how it was going well and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, yes. Oh my gosh, it was huge. It was huge to know that. So also in a little bit, you guys will be taking your questions as well. And we have the ability today to add in somebody, do a little split screen and find out what's going on. If you have a quick question, we'll probably have a quick answer for you. At least that's our goal for today. So be sure to think something up about what you want to ask us. Honey yesterday, the black lab.
That was fun.
So I taped the whole thing, obviously, right? And I was even showing my family last night. I'm like, look at how bad this dog was shaking. I don't think I've ever had a dog in front of me shake that bad.
Not one that I can think of.
Like either. Almost to the point where her leg was vibrating on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so, oh my gosh, you just feel so sorry for a dog like that, you know?
But it was cool to see how far she came in that
hour
and a half too. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And we did a lot of work, right? You know, there was a lot of leash work. You probably recognize it. I tried a few different things that didn't work until it was finally like, I got the owner with me and then
got the dog moving.
And then we were moving and then it was easier. But there are times when it's just like, you wanna just hold on to that dog, right? Like there's inside of me, I'm like, you don't have to hold the dog, you don't have to pet the dog,
don't need to coddle it right now, you're not going to help it.
And so we're doing that too, right? It's just
totally
compared to somebody else who's the owner's doing it and they are physically doing it all day every day, and to us seeing a dog like that, we know that we want to get there,
yes.
But we have to take it a little slower. But what when you walked in with, it was Yo-Yo, right? Yep. What was your first impression?
Well, it was interesting because she was sniffing at first. The bark didn't come right away. She was sniffing at first, and then I think he sat at my feet, and then it was a little while after that she started barking at it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting just to see her reaction to the situation, and I thought Yo-Yo handled it well.
I know. I did too. You guys, I'm going to post up a link for you to be able to join us with. So that link right there that just went up, you can click on that. There's Mr. George. So we're going to fire him right in here as quick as we can. There's that. Mr. George.
Hey.
How are you?
How you doing? I'm having a little audio issue. It says it's going to fix itself in a minute, and we'll see.
Okay. Well, we can hear you fine.
So we will have to check it out.
So I think we just ought to give everybody a little context, George. You've done.
I'm still getting. I can't really hear you that well.
Okay.
Let's see if there's some sort of setting here to get things going.
Oh, he just muted himself.
Here we go.
How about now?
How about now? Is that any better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, that's better. That's a lot better than it was a second ago. I changed the setting. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I haven't heard what you guys been talking about. I'm just parking the truck coming into work. So,
We've just been talking about what's been going on here. We haven't jumped on an issue,
yeah.
but so I want to give everybody a little idea how busy of a guy you are. So you've done about how many sessions? Just 2020?
Just 2020, I think it was around 1,851 or 52.
And are those private sessions sitting down with a client, or is it that and also like one-on-one training sessions with a dog?
Well, it's one-on-one. I do mostly privates with the clients. I do uh, 3 or 4 classes a week, and just always doing something.
Yeah. All right. So,
Yeah, no rest for the wicked.
right. Yeah. I told Matt when you and I were talking a couple weeks ago about how you said Captain Haggerty said anything less than 60 hours is part time, right?
Yeah, that's what he always said.
Wow. Wow.
George, do you think there's a huge difference in this generation of dog trainers compared to yours?
Oh yeah, of course. Some good, some bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think certainly having the network available to us younger generation, certainly helps to where you guys just had the telephone to start with, and then by email your group, right? Your group emails and such.
Yeah. Back in the day, you didn't really know a lot of other trainers. You might trip over one or two here and there, but since the advent of the internet, of course, the trainer population has exploded since the internet started, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Um, a fair estimate, when I started in the 70s, maybe there was, I don't know, 200 professional making money at it dog trainers in the country.
Wow.
I think, I think that'd be a fair estimate.
Yeah.
Um, now there's, I don't know, 200,000 or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So,
All right. So I know one thing that always kind of triggers your brain here is the old statement that a dog shows fear aggression. So
yeah, I'm not a big fan of that term.
yeah. So explain that. Why are you not a fan of the term fear aggression?
Well, because and this is just my opinion, of course, but aggression's always forward, and it usually has some level of intent in it. A dog that's biting out of fear or threatening out of fear um, isn't being aggressive. He's more so being defensive. A dog that really wants to bite you usually doesn't give you a whole lot of warning. He just kind of pops off and bites you.
Yeah.
Most dogs that are throwing all that body language and temper tantrums and everything really don't want to bite, in my opinion. They're trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
So um, so I try to educate my students that verbiage puts ideas in your head and makes you act accordingly, and you're going to be wrong a lot of times if you get hung up in my dog's fear aggressive. Okay, he's being defensive. He doesn't like the situation. He's trying to make something happen or stop happening. With all those actions. So, the other thing I'm a big fan of saying is this, and again, my opinion. Other people can disagree. When people come in and say their dog's aggressive, I stop them right there and say, okay, let's not use aggressive as a term describing their temperament. You know, uh, he's acting aggressively, therefore that's a behavior he does. You see, it's not a
Yeah.
way of being. Aggression is not a way of being. It's
like a
an
symptom,
action.
and it's like a symptom and not the problem.
Right. So I tend to use the word, if I have a dog that's just, and these are so rare, but if I have a dog that's just vicious, just he's going to bite anything no matter what you do. You train him up and he's still going to bite you. I use the term vicious. That's just an old term that's been around forever.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is I try to get in a student's head and have them describe my dog. My dog acts aggressively when, when X happens, you
Yeah.
see? And then now we have a behavior. Okay, so aggression is an action and an option the dog has. Let's look at teaching him some different options. So there's very few what I call vicious dogs around. I mean, extremely few. I probably haven't seen one this year, and I've seen a lot of dogs this year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
very, very rare dog. And you'll know it when you meet that dog. You'll know it. So
Well, and you had said, I remember seeing you had written it was in a Facebook group a couple of years ago, how I think you were doing an evaluation with a dog and you just got the vibe and he looked at you like that dog wanted to end your existence.
right, yeah, yeah. So and I didn't take that job. As a matter of fact, that situation was a little nutty because I evaled the dog and I gave a go ahead to come in for training. But the dog, they waited several weeks, and when they came in, the dog was completely different than the dog I saw in the evaluation.
Yeah.
Wow.
And within a very short amount of time, I made the decision right there on the spot that, you know what, I'm not going to take this work in, and refunded their money, and
Yeah.
smoothed it over as best I could, and just explained to them, you've got more, you've got not only a gun here, it's a loaded gun, and you have a gun that the trigger's broken.
Whew.
Wow.
And you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And that's a rare thing. I will not help somebody out. And I've worked some very gnarly dogs over the years, but this one told me, and I'm at a place in my career, I'm 60 years old, getting ready to enter my 44th year of doing this. If I get racked up now with a bad bite, I'm over.
It's done. Yeah.
And while I could probably get a different type of job, man, I've been doing this so long. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So anything that goes really south now can really end my career. So we made a fairly clear decision. We're just not taking that type of dog in.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I'd have taken that dog in a minute.
Yeah.
But I don't do it now. And I don't think a trainer has to take that kind of dog in to have bragging rights and to make them feel good about themselves. There's too many dogs that need our help that you don't have to worry about ending your career over. I'm not impressed when a young trainer says, I work with nothing but, aggressive dogs. And I'm like, what are you, stupid? You go ahead and work that one aggressive dog and maybe fix him. Maybe.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm doing 30 or 40 good-natured, I don't know, labradoodles that, just are pulling mama on the leash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and the money's not that different.
Right.
So,
It's true.
Right. Well, I think you had said too that your definition of aggressive dogs these days is, or the definition of aggressive dogs these days is different than the aggressive dogs you saw probably early on in your career.
Oh yeah, by far. I haven't seen what I call a real hardcore stone killer in, I don't know, 20 years, man. Back in the day, the junkyard dogs and stuff, they've deleted the gene pool so much with all this spay and neutering. Think about all the good genetics that are getting spayed and neutered out of existence too. But those old, I run Dobermans, right? So I have these good-natured, happy, high-performance, just wonderful dogs, incredibly intelligent. Back in the 70s, Dobermans were the pit bulls of today. You know what I mean? They had that reputation. People didn't want Dobermans around because they were stone killers. Look at the movies from back then in the 70s. You'll see it.
Right. Well, and Magnum PI had the Dobermans too, right? Zeus and Apollo.
Right. Yeah. But those dogs were incredibly well trained.
For sure.
But they still, but the presence they put out compared to the Dobermans I'm running today, and I'm running a pretty high end Doberman.
Yeah.
Totally different. Totally. So.
Yeah. So we got a question here, George. If you want to take it, I'll post it up here.
Sure, I'll do as long as I can. I do have a 1:00 appointment. When they roll in, I'll have to dump out. But
all right.
Ahead.
So Deborah said, any help for shaking and panting on a car ride, no matter how small? Huge anxiety, and CBD doesn't help.
Yeah, just dump those drugs in them. But but no, seriously. here's what I tell people that have car problems. One, usually the only time they're throwing a dog in the car, they're going to the vet for the dog to get poked on and prodded and everything else, or you know. And so here's one thing I'll do. My dogs have zero problem in the thing. Feed the dog in the car. Just park the car, in your driveway, and that'd be feeding place first of all for a while. Hey, we're gonna eat dinner. Let's go get in the car. Put the bowl in there, let them eat.
Yep.
Two, after that dog's real comfortable eating, you'll find out that he wait a day or two, they'll eat. They're going to calm down enough to eat. Then I'll tell them to fire the car off. Just sit there, read your phone, watch EN on the internet, and then while the dog's eating, and then of course I'll have them, I don't know, back out the driveway, drive down to the mailbox or something. Just every day I'd have that dog in that car, so it becomes part of every day versus it's always a big emotional event. Also, look at your own driving habits and be honest with yourself. Okay, your dog can't anticipate when you're going to stop at the red light up the street. You know what I mean? And then if you're the type, me, I run hard. I run these hot rods and stuff. And but if you're flying up and then, getting down hard on those brakes at the last minute, that dog can't anticipate that. And then, of course, you accelerate. Maybe they're kicking back. They're going to get seasick. And so they'll put that together. Hey, when I'm in this thing, my belly starts feeling really oogie, you know. But so I just teach my dogs from day one that the car is just same as I would use a crate. I just put them in the car for a while. I could play on the phone. I don't know, change a spark plug or something, and pretty soon they become acclimated. But really, look at your own driving habits. How fast are you hooking around that right or that left turn? Remember that dog. If I'm sitting next to you, I can anticipate that and adjust. But your dog can't do that, and so you're getting bounced all over the place more times than not.
Yeah, it's like turn 2 at Daytona. They don't know that's coming.
Right, exactly right. So, and then of course, once they start having some bad experiences, they're going to start, associating that car with this, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of throwing drugs in them. I mean, if I have a dog that truly just can't cope with it, I might get some form of canine Dramamine or something to give them before a trip.
Yeah.
But really, I haven't had to do that.
Yeah.
But I would if I needed to. This Cbd oil, I don't have any opinion on it. I haven't used it. I've always been fairly anti any kind of drugs. So to me, I know it's not marijuana, but just the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for proof versus opinion.
Totally. Yep, I hear you. All right, well, we're going to cut you loose, George, so you got time to get to your lesson.
All right.
Thanks.
So,
thanks for popping.
Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you again.
All right, thanks, George.
All right.
Well, that was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's been a long time coming.
Right?
It has been.
You know what? It's interesting, too, is his, when he talks about just going and sitting in the car, this is like we say, practice it when you don't need it.
That's exactly what popped into my head. Yes.
But I love how George said, just sit in your car.
Yeah.
Like watch your phone, change a spark plug, do whatever. And then also, it's funny. I never even thought that when you bring a dog home for the first time, also too, when you're taking it from the shelter, it's in the car already going home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. We always talk about what to do with the dog when they get home. We're not even talking about what to do with the dog, picking it up from the shelter and getting it into the car.
Yeah. Bringing it home. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't, most of the time there's all sorts of excitement. We have a new dog. If there's kids, this is, exciting.
Totally.
Right.
Are you crating the dog in the car? Is the dog loose in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool to see that. So that's your first time seeing George too, right?
Yes.
Right.
First time seeing him and hearing
like you can hear the wisdom.
Yes.
Right. Like
you can tell he's been doing it for a long time.
He's been doing it for quite some time, which was very cool. So George, for that, we thank you for all your wisdom here too, by the way. All right. So let's jump on to the next question here. This is from Marcy. How do you feel about neutering a Rottweiler at a year old? Here's the thing. There are a lot of countries that that don't spay and neuter their dogs.
Yep.
And I think for us, I wish we were in a setting that we didn't have to.
Right.
Because I am so curious to see dogs and to see them as their true self.
The behavior of 100%.
Right. And the behavior and stuff. I do sometimes feel that the spaying and neutering is an issue. I get it, because there is an overpopulation. Unfortunately, that's a human thing that says, if we pay better attention, we could actually have dogs back at who they truly are.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, if you're looking at neutering, the old adage of neutering your dog and spaying or whatever, this is not going to fix a behavioral issue.
No.
And we don't know if this is a behavioral issue or not. But it's not going to be the 180.
Yeah, it's not going to fix anything.
And now you have Lassie.
Yes.
Right? It's not going to happen. But if you feel like you have to neuter maybe for health reasons,
if you got to take your dog to daycare.
If you got to take your dog to daycare or whatever, then I think it's different. But for me, if you're in a setting where you don't have to worry about that dog getting another dog pregnant, then I think we leave it intact.
I would agree.
I don't know. That's my opinion on that. I mean, but he has to be a well-behaved guy too, right? We just can't have a misbehaving.
Still gonna have rules.
Yeah, and we got to make sure that dog stays close to home.
Yeah.
Not like
what was his name?
I don't know, but there was a dog when Gemma was in heat that
came from he came from Hyde Park. He came.
Yeah, he crossed a highway. He came for probably as the crow flies a mile.
Probably a mile as the crow flies, but yeah, and he did it multiple times too.
Yeah. Aye. We probably have time for one more person if they want to jump on here with us and ask us a question. This is the comment here that I put up. It's higher up in the comments if you can see them. I will actually post it again here so you can see it. In the meantime, let's see. This is a good one here. So Molly says, advice for acclimating a dog to a move to a new house. Okay, first of all, if you can get the dog out of the house while you pack everything up, that would be ideal.
Yes.
That's the first scenario. Lynn was the first one that really described that to us, I think, as far as like the pictures and the world is crumbling because pictures are coming down, furniture's getting packed away while the dog is in the house.
I don't know if I remember this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was just, if you think about it from your perspective, if you went home and stuff was off the walls, what you'd have questions.
Yeah, I would.
Right?
Absolutely.
So ideally, it's best if you can actually board your dog
Wow.
out of the situation. And I honestly think when Zoe was here, kind of the gray charcoal, when she was here, they were moving and she was getting trained at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that was a win-win.
Totally.
So to me, the new house, once you get into that scenario, do not let your dog walk around the house. Right? What else are you going to throw in on this?
I was going to say it's a great opportunity to start setting new rules, creating a whole new routine if you were having issues before, because everything's going to be new and different, and this allows you to.
Yeah, it's a clean slate.
It really is.
It's a clean slate. So just as much as moving can create a problem, it's also a clean slate too that you guys can really this is time to start fresh. So I would certainly start with crating. The dog is not allowed to run the house at all. Like let him go check out every room kind of thing. There has to be structure. I mean, It's okay if it's been weeks before the dog's seen the entire house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have to get used to the noises too. Neighbors' noises, house noises, all that kind of stuff.
It just gives you the chance to work with them. Like, what do you want from them in each situation, in each moment? When you're cooking dinner, where do you want them? When someone comes to the door, what do you want your dog to do?
Yes. Yep. So we have a question from somebody that you know quite well.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
So this is from Christina, who says, best advice for dealing with the wiggles when trying to brush teeth. And this was actually one of Matt's private lessons, puppies. So why don't I'll let you
go ahead
answer, because you know who this is and who this dog is.
So I would it's just like what we talked about, Christina, with the behavior expectation drill for going down to start brushing. If he starts to wiggle at that point, I'm just going to stop, have him on a leash, wait a second, go back in. As soon as I get that toothbrush close or the brush and he starts to wiggle, stop everything, relax, and he's going to learn over time. When he does that movement, when he stands up and starts wiggling, oh, that's what stops mom. And then you can continue.
Yeah. And it just takes some time too. I mean, it's all that there is to it. It takes time and practice, and just like what we talked about with George.
Yes.
Practice when you don't need it.
Practice when you don't need it. And you got a young little guy too, so you keep doing what you're doing and things will fall into place.
Yeah, it'll get there. It'll get there. And if it doesn't, you know a couple guys.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more question here from Carolee Moore. Would you recommend rehoming a resource guarding 7-month-old puppy when young kids are in the house?
First, I would seek training to see if that's something that can be easily fixed.
Or if it even is resource guarding.
Yes, that is a great point.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
And then from there, depending on what your trainer says, take what they say and apply their techniques. Or if you don't agree with it, look for help somewhere else. I would definitely, in my mind, I would seek out 2 or 3 people and try to find something that worked for me. And if nothing worked, then it might come to that. But
the other part of this too is she's already considering rehoming.
Yes.
And young kids, and we see a picture here, so this could be the young kids. So these,
good point.
Right? So now I look at it and go, if those are my kids,
yeah,
and I have a dog like this,
I want to keep them safe.
Even if it's me now and I know this dog, I don't know if I have time to deal with it.
To deal with that, yeah.
Right? Like it, and then we have to look at a compatibility issue.
True.
Are we compatible? Does this work?
Yeah.
You know, so she said, here we go. She has bitten their hands when they go near her toys. Yeah. See, so and from the looks of things, if the kids are about that age, they don't know well enough.
Yeah, that's
to stay away from the dog.
You can have that conversation, and it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah. So I'm not going to, Carolee, I'm not going to be the guy that tells you to give up your dog. I did see that. I'm not going to be the guy that tells you to give up your dog. That's going to be your choice as a mother what to do. And here's the thing. You can't give that 7-month-old puppy to another home with kids.
Yeah, you're setting it up to fail.
If anything, that dog, if you decide to rehome it, that dog should go into a shelter of some sort, a shelter that has a trainer, a shelter that can work with that dog and give it a chance at a different life and a compatible home too. I think that would be ideal.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this today. This was fun. This was awesome. This was great. I hope it looked as good on your end too as it did on this end too. So we will be back. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday, 12:30, and my goal is to also get this up on YouTube as well for you guys. So until next week, you guys, we will catch you later.